Welcome to I'm Mad as Hell with Lloyd Brock and Greg Simpson. Now, if you want to share your anger, this is the station, KCAA, every Saturday at 12 noon. If you're mad as hell at the government, politicians, IRS, your bank, a car dealer, or the court system, let us know. You may want to be one of our in-studio guests, or just call in and vent that anger. 1-888-909-1050 or 909-888-5222 locally. We may not be able to resolve your individual problems, but we will give you a forum to share your anger with our listeners. Now, join us at KCAA 1050 AM and at KCAAradio.com or check us out at Ustream. Now, here's Lloyd and Greg.
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
That's
anymore.
It.
It's the
Yeah,
time.
I'm just mad as
What
hell.
are you mad this week about?
Oh, just read the newspapers.
Yeah, it does. It does the deal.
And this heat.
Yeah, the heat, boy.
Well, yeah.
Did you order this?
No, our air conditioning kind of went out, so we've got
no air.
We may have to turn off the camera because we're going to start taking our clothes off.
Yes, right.
And you don't want to see that.
No, you do not. Close your eyes anyway. One eye.
It's supposed to be. Well, he said he just
109.
checked.
It's 106 right now.
106, according to the. Yeah, that's what it said, right? 106.
106, guys.
Right there. That's outside. In here, it's only 100.
103 or so.
No. Hey, Ray, I'm mad as hell. It just these premiums in California.
Okay.
Covered California are going to go up next year, and right here in the weekly. A Week in Money from the LA Times. Notice? Okay. Or is this the? Oh, it's the Sun.
Oh, it's the Sun. They
yeah.
have
Well, the
okay.
LA Times owns them.
Yeah, they own them now. Huh?
So anyway, it says premiums under Covered California, the state's Obama healthcare insurance exchange, are about to increase by a statewide average of 13.2% next year. And he said that's more than triple, roughly 4% increase that we're seeing in each of the previous 2 years.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Kevin Smith, the columnist on this, said, I'm not about to take political sides on this, but people who already have been complaining about Obamacare certainly have more to complain about now. The hikes will go into effect in January, and they'll be dispersed throughout California's 19 pricing regions, with some areas getting hit a lot harder than other ones.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it said how big. It said the biggest rate hikes will occur in regions that include Monterey, San Benito, Santa Cruz counties. And how big, you ask? Well, try 28.6%.
28. Oh my goodness.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield of California will see the biggest rate increases statewide, according to Covered California Executive Director Peter Lee. Blue Shield said its average hike will be 19.9%. You might as well say 20%.
Yeah.
So if you got Blue Shield, look for that increase of 20%.
My goodness.
And look, what they're doing is actually the deductibles are going up too.
Sure.
Even Kaiser, their deductibles, depending on your plan.
That's where they're getting them, yeah.
I hit on that a couple of weeks ago when that guy, he wanted to have his son have circumcised there at Kaiser.
And it was
what was it, $2,000?
Yes, yeah, almost $2,000, yeah.
And he said down the street it was $299 at the clinic, and they said, well, we got a bigger hospital and everything else. But he said that his plan, Covered California, had a $9,000 deductible.
Oh my! $9,000. My goodness.
So he had to pay the first $9,000.
Hey, you're $9,000, then you're ready. Huh?
Each plan is different, so you got to look into this.
Sure.
I want to congratulate my grandson.
All right, yeah, that's right. You're a great grandpa again. I just heard that.
So Gregory and Shannon, congratulations on our new baby
Congratulations.
boy.
Baby boy, name, or do you want to?
Connor.
Connor. Hi,
Yeah.
Connor.
Welcome to this world.
Yeah, welcome.
And
to
I
the-
also officiated at a funeral yesterday also.
Yeah, and I
So-
called it the ideal time, I understand.
Yes, you did. I was saying the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
I was conducting that, and he calls.
That's wonderful.
And so did my grandson.
Yeah, you say.
And then I explained to the audience. I said,
Then you
know,
explained to him. Huh?
one person leaves this earth, another is
Another
born.
return. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of ironic.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
They called me and said he was born.
Yeah.
At any rate, be prepared for the big increases in your insurance next year.
Oh,
I don't know when it's going to stop. There's so many people that
Well,
are
everybody
pulling.
said this was going to happen. I said it. Everybody that knows anything about economics said it.
Yeah. Said that Golden State has the highest state level sales tax in the nation at 7.5%, although that's scheduled to be dropped to 7.3 at the end of this year. But when you combine with local sales taxes, the rate can be as high as 10% some cities.
Sure.
And you know, they're raising the price of a pack of cigarettes. What is it, $5-6 now?
Yeah, a lot.
They said a pack of cigarettes will cost you an extra 87 cents when the tax is added in, and gas runs an additional 38.5 cents a gallon, including the excise tax of 36 cents plus an additional 2.25% sales tax. And housing costs,
Yeah, let's
they're
hear
up.
about that. Wow. How much?
Well, it said they're up 7%.
Phew.
In May, the average house in California is $459,000, and that's up 7%.
Wow.
So that's good for people who want to sell their real estate.
Oh,
But if
yeah.
you're going to buy a house,
It's
almost
horrible
impossible.
right now. Yeah, it's almost impossible.
It said United Healthcare, which is
Yeah.
the one I have.
Yeah, I got United
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Of course, I'm not on California coverage.
No, you're
I'm
federal.
I have federal
Yeah.
coverage.
Yeah, so you're everywhere.
So United Healthcare, I have a different program, but they're pulling out. They'll be pulling out of California or covered California next year after just 1 year of participation. They're losing millions and
That's
millions
right.
of dollars.
They're losing the most, aren't they? Millions and millions of dollars,
and
right?
it just can't sustain
No,
itself.
it can't.
Period.
It never could. It was
What are you
ill thought out.
mad as hell about?
Well, I'm mad as hell about right now. Let's see. The first thing we're going to talk about is the steel mills. Old Kaiser steel mill. It's not Old Kaiser steel either. It's another steel mill. Anyway, they melt the weapons that are seized in various
Forms.
various forms, various reasons, turned in or in crimes or whatever. Anyway, there's a load of weapons. 7,000, I think it was 7,000 pounds this year. 7,000 firearms are going to be melted and made into rebar steel, which they use for various
Construction.
construction projects.
Yeah, my question though is, I had a friend who they robbed his house, they stole his guns,
Uh-huh.
and they found the gun. Then they
Okay.
came back and questioned him. He never got that gun back, and when he did inquire about it, they said, "Oh, we melted that down." I thought they were supposed to return that.
Yeah, sure they are. They're supposed to return a
It
weapon.
wasn't in a crime. It
And,
was
and if he's not a felon, is he a felon?
No.
Okay, so he should have had his gun back. They should at least pay him for the value.
and some of these guns that supposedly melted show
And
up later.
Yeah, there was a case back in remember the old Black Panther days?
Yeah.
Geronimo Pratt days.
Yeah.
I happened to be involved in that case a little bit. And one of the firearms, they had a big raid on a Black Panther facility where Geronimo Pratt was, and they shot it all up. And they didn't kill Pratt because he wasn't on his bed; he was laying on the floor because he had a bad back. And so I did a computer check on these guns, and also they seized lawnmowers and various other items. I don't know why they seized a lawnmower. But there
Run
were two of
somebody
them.
over
Yeah.
with it, you know.
But anyway, I went.
Cut your toes off.
What? Yeah. Anyway, and they started melting the guns at this time, and I found that a 38 or it might have been a 32 caliber. Anyway, it was a revolver, had been found, was used to murder somebody in Pasadena. So, you know, it was real curious that a Black Panther raid gun would show up in the general public and be used for a crime. So
after it was supposed to be melted down,
yeah,
right?
It was supposed to be melted down. That was years ago. That was back in the the 70s.
I've heard several occasions where those weapons showed up again.
Sure.
That should have been melted down.
Right.
So.
And that, you know, there's some really. I was watching it one year. I was close there, so I pulled over by it, and I was watching them throw some of them guns in there and long arms, and there were some really nice weapons. I don't know if they were nice that they worked or whatever, but they were nice looking exteriorly. Yeah. So, and they were being melted.
Well, we got a commercial coming up, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Wow, am I thirsty. Whoa.
Are you really?
Yes.
I think you should come up to Oak Hills Brewing Company, home of the best brews in the high desert.
High desert? That's where I'm from.
Oh, do you know Floyd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His brother Lloyd. Yeah, I know him.
Say hello to Floyd. Founded by two entrepreneurs, these big dreams turned into Oak Hills Brewing Company. They have yummy brews, select ales, craft sodas, root beer, ginger ale, and cream soda for the kids.
How many?
How many kids?
How many brews?
I don't care how many kids come up.
Oh, okay.
They have 3 brews.
Okay.
For kids. Then they have 13 brews for adults.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it.
I'm glad. Oak Hills Brewing. Mondays, 5 to 9. Thursdays, 3 to 9. Friday, 1 to 10. And Saturday, 1 to 10. Oak Hills Brewing Company.
I'm going up right now.
Do you know how to get there?
Yeah, almost.
Okay, well, let me just make sure. 15 north to the 395, past 2 signals, turn right on Poplar, and you're there. OakHillsBrewing.com.
On my way.
Welcome back to Mad as Hell.
You know, right now I could use a cold
I was
one.
going to say, yeah, today would be a great day to sample
You
some
got to
of
go
this
up
product.
to Oak
Yeah.
Hills. He's got some of the finest, finest beer in
Sure.
the high desert, or I should say Southern California. A lot of people love it.
On your way up to Vegas, you might want to try one out. Better yet, on your way home from Vegas, you might want to try one
But
out.
not too many.
Not too many, yeah. One is enough,
Just
right?
a taste.
That's right, and grab a
So you
six-pack
can
and
come
take
back.
it home later,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or if you're with somebody that's a
Yeah,
teetotaler.
Yeah, if you have a designated driver, that's a different story.
Yeah, then you be.
Then you could have 2.
But he's got some great brews up there, I'll tell you. As many as 19 different
Oh, wow.
flavors, you know, and just.
What are some of the flavors? What you...
Well, he's experimenting all the time. The master
cranberry,
brewer,
cranberry beer, would that be a
he's-
flavor? Apple?
I know that at Valentine's Day he had a chocolate beer,
Chocolate, okay.
just
yeah.
a little hint of chocolate, you know.
Was it good, or
And
did you
he's
get
got
to try one?
mango orange wheat.
Okay. Kind of common
mango,
flavors,
yeah.
maybe?
They've got. I mean, it's really light. He's
Uh-huh.
got a pale ale.
Mhm.
He's got some of the stronger ones.
Right?
I don't like ones with a big bite out of them, and a lot of the German beer. He does a lot of German beers too.
Isn't there a limit on alcohol in beers? Is there a max and a low limit? Or
I don't think so.
I don't-
He's-
you know,
he's
just
got
whatever.
some that are pretty
loaded up, huh?
powerful, yeah. And he brews some for months and months. You know,
Yeah.
some of them 6 months, but
Oh, boy.
they're really great beers. You got to go down there and try
Yeah,
it.
sure you do.
And I would remind the people that call us.
Yeah, give us a call.
If you're mad as hell about anything, recent politics, somebody that scammed you in some way, was not polite,
Not polite, yes.
and just
Stole your money, in
didn't
other
care.
words, yeah.
Well, you know, it was, but at the local number, if you want to call here locally, it's 1-909-888-5222.
Or you can reach us if you're long distance or, you know, out of the area, any distance.
Anywhere.
Anywhere, really.
We've had calls
888.
from back east, yeah.
Yeah, we've had calls from England even.
Yeah.
Anyway, 888-909-1010. 1050. Give us a call. And I'd like to add, if you are going to vote for Miss Clinton, call and let us know why.
Yeah.
We'd like to debate
I'm mad
that.
as hell about yesterday. I went, my friend was buried at the National Cemetery at Riverside,
Uh-huh.
and military honors and things, but went there, and they've got a system that they allow you 30 minutes total time. 15 minutes of that is the honor guard,
Uh-huh.
and they do taps. And I don't know what you have to do to get 21 gun salute. I hear guns in the background being fired, but ours wasn't.
Huh.
We just got the 15 minutes there. But you get there, ours was at 10:30 to 11. So you had to get there at 10. They line up the cars in a different area. And they say, go to area 3, the green sign, have all your people there. And the man will come over there and check your paperwork, do all these things. And then you follow him up the street.
Uh-huh.
And that is where you have the ceremony.
And you'd have the ceremony.
But you only have 15 minutes
yeah, that seems
of your
really,
own time. They do the flag ceremony and fold the flag, give it to the widow,
oh, yeah.
and do taps. And then I had to introduce, I had to welcome the people
Oh, boy, yeah.
that came for the memorial
Uh-huh.
and talk for just a short period of time. We had to save everything else to the last, and we had a singer from Las Vegas who he knew real well.
Uh-huh.
Mark O'Toole. He he won Star Search way back.
Oh, okay, Mark
And
O'Toole.
yeah, he's been Entertainer of the Year there in Las Vegas for many different times, and he was at the Hard Rock, at the M, and he's got a big show coming up August 5th. You guys want to go to Las Vegas August 5th, and he's got a Barry Manilow tribute concert. And the arena is there. It's 2,000 people. Guy's fabulous, though. He sings
He's really good.
all types of songs, and he sang Ave Maria a cappella there.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And then we went back to Mission Inn, and he had lunch there, and he sang some more songs. But
Okay.
it was really, really nice. But I thought, you should have more time than
You
15
should have more
minutes.
time. Yeah, you should
I mean,
have.
especially if you had some of these people had a big long line of cars.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years ago, I went, and it seemed like it was a lot longer. And they did the 21 gun salute, but it seemed like there was a lot
He said they
longer
do 30 or 40 a day.
yeah, and they'd stage you down below, and then you'd come up like you said, and then it seemed like it had a longer service, but I don't remember a very long speech. Graveside, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
I didn't remember
15
that being
minutes
very
is
long.
it. Maximum, you're out.
Yeah,
And you
but
have
I
to
remember
leave
the
on
flag
time.
ceremony being a long time. Took a
Yeah.
long time.
They said, okay, we're done.
You were done, yeah.
That's it.
they booted you. Huh?
Yeah. Whereas a regular cemetery, you can take as long as you want.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of them do.
Right. There you go.
Hours.
Yeah, I spent some time and had some other people spend some time. Montel Williams has an issue with O'Reilly, and he was venting it during the convention, and he was getting pretty good
Response, huh?
response. Then all of a sudden, the cruise thing happened, and of course it took away from his whole experience. Anyway, I invited him on the show if he had time or to call. So Montel, if you're listening, give us a call and we can discuss this experience, what happened. And
Yeah. I don't know what the conflict was about.
Yeah,
Did you get any details?
No, I
on
didn't
that?
get the details. I never did get the details on what it was about. It was about some name calling, and it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad name calling, and I remember he challenged O'Reilly to something.
Well,
So,
O'Reilly gets into it with a lot of people.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess it's a real feud now, and it got covered up. So anyway, Montel, you got an audience here. It's not maybe as large audience as you would like, but it's we sure put it on here for you.
Now, back to San Bernardino, and we're trying to save the Community Hospital of San Bernardino
Yes, for sure.
from the clutches of Dignity Health.
Yeah, they're about to sell the place, and people don't understand that. The people of San Bernardino, other people, just don't understand the gravity of it. This hospital doesn't belong to Dignity, and yet they're going to sell it. And once it's sold, who cares, right?
Well, they say that Community Hospital of San Bernardino owes them over 150 million or so, and there's no way they can pay it back, so they can,
Yeah,
they'll
they can
close and then they'll buy it.
And then they'll buy
And
it.
then convert it.
Yeah, then convert it or bankrupt it. It'll take a lot of funny steps.
Yeah,
they got a lot of good lawyers, man.
I had a meeting with a lawyer and a few doctors this week
Uh-huh.
concerning that very issue
Yes.
with a politician. I've been trying to get politicians to get involved in this thing,
Of course, yes.
and I can't get their attention.
They just won't
Nobody
listen.
seems to
They don't
want
wanna-
to come to bat and
Yeah.
save this valuable hospital.
Yeah,
we need that
it
hospital
doesn't make
there.
sense. It does not make any sense.
It services that community.
Right, and
Right there.
it's been a really a leading hospital, especially in their child, in their birthing, and their children's deal. It was a great hospital at
Yeah.
one time.
Well, and then actually the Black Voice, the newspaper, local newspaper, got on their case a few years
Oh
ago.
yeah,
and
really,
it's a
and
scathing,
jumped on the bandwagon.
scathing
Got
article about Catholic Healthcare West,
got
which,
the Senator
which is
Dimely
now
involved,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it went
silent.
south. Yeah, it just quit.
Well, I guess Cheryl Brown's daughter runs that now. If you're listening,
Yeah,
get
please.
back on it. I think it's worth saving.
Yeah, at least do an
Listen, I'm
interview.
just-
Go talk to these doctors. Go shake some trees and see what falls out.
Yeah, I had contacted Cheryl Brown's office. Mike Morrell, the state senator, is in charge of that area.
Yeah,
Mike, you got to get on this.
you do,
I mean, you're going up for re-election.
and it's going to come and haunt you if you
let's
don't.
try to save that hospital. And, even the city council, you should go to bat.
Yeah,
You know what they're trying to do.
sure you do.
Is somebody being paid off here? I don't know.
What do you think?
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Look at the judge. Look what this one judge has done.
Yeah, but it's criminal, some
Yeah.
of the things that are being done.
It is. It's criminal.
And I tried to bring this up to. I've contacted the FBI, and they're too busy right now with other things. But
Yeah,
they'll eventually get to it, and I'm sure that they'll. Here's another article on Prime. Details from Prime Healthcare case released. Now this was last week, and this was from July 7th, but it had Ontario-based Prime Healthcare Medical Group responded Wednesday to news the federal government is joining a Medicare fraud lawsuit against the company, and they're denying charges it admitted patients needlessly.
Yeah,
But they've got people that are whistleblowers that came forward
sure.
and have already,
Let them know what was going on.
they're all guilty of a lot of different things. Prime is
But they probably have a slush fund like Dignity to pay off any.
well. What
fine
happens?
or-
What happens here is a lot of companies like Prime want to come in and take over a hospital,
Uh-huh.
and then they want to cut out services that are not profitable.
Yes,
Everything that's not profitable,
they want to cut
they
out.
cut it out.
Oh yeah,
And some of these things are necessary
Absolutely
for
necessary.
the community. And
Sure.
it wouldn't surprise me at all if Dignity didn't want to do the same thing.
well sure. That it's obvious what they wanted to do.
Uh,
They did it in Long Beach and closed the hospital actually, but
It's a
they didn't read the bylaws well enough, and it had to be a hospital.
It's a for-profit operation,
It is a for-profit operation. You got it.
and it shouldn't be. It
No.
should be for the help the people in the community. That community hospital was owned by the community and the doctors.
And the doctors, yes.
Not by a billion-dollar corporation that's trying to take it over.
Yeah,
And
they
then-
come with an affiliation agreement, and if there hadn't been some issue by some of the doctors there, that hospital would have been long gone, and history, or a memory anyway, and a lot of people wouldn't have been cared right.
If you have any information about this and you'd like to share it with us, you don't have to come on the radio.
No,
Just call the station.
sure.
We'll take your number. I'll get the information. We won't use your name. But, if you want to blow the whistle let
Yeah,
us know.
let us
if
know.
If you're retired and you
we'll
knew
help you.
things that went on, call us and call this station and give your name to the engineer.
Yeah.
And our local number, 909-888-5222.
And if you happen to have
now,
moved and you're out of the area, 888-909-1050.
Now we got a break for another commercial.
All right.
You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda at 106.5 FM, K293CF Moreno Valley.
Money, money, money!
Most of us need extra money. Well, if you own something of value, go to Rich's Jewelry and Loan in Ontario. He'll loan you money on jewelry, musical instruments, tools, electronics, and almost anything of value. Or if you prefer, he'll purchase the item from you. And if you need a great buy in diamonds or a Rolex watch, Rich can save you hundreds of dollars. Don't waste time. Go to Rich's Jewelry and Loan, 124 West Holt Boulevard in Ontario. Give Rich a call, 986-2604, and tell him what you'd like to sell or bring in for a loan.
Loans!
Rich's Jewelry and Loan, 124 West Holt Boulevard, Ontario.
Once again, here's Lloyd and Greg.
Now, you go to Rich's. I was just there the other day.
Yeah.
You know, people can buy things way below cost.
Way below.
I saw some excellent computers there. Laptop computers with it's already got the software in there and everything else.
Sure.
For as little as $225, $249.
Musical
Some of the bigger
instruments,
ones. Just-
musical
I mean,
instruments, TVs,
Guitars.
tools. I mean,
you
hand
name it.
tools as well as electric tools.
Don't pay retail.
No way.
Go there.
Go see Rich and get this, get a deal.
Right
Jewelry.
there in Holt,
Yeah.
Ontario.
Right on the corner of Holt and Euclid, or just off the corner.
Okay, getting back to mad as hell.
Mad as hell.
About
yeah.
anything. Here's a report. The Inland Empire and others see year-over-year job gains.
Okay.
Now, you know,
Where?
I can't believe this.
I can't
cannot
either.
believe
Where
this.
are they?
Yeah, well, you look in the newspaper right here, and I've got it, a proof of it.
Okay.
You cannot find, here it is, right here, today's want ads.
Want ads? Okay.
You know how many are there?
Six?
5.
Oh, 5. Okay.
5.
I
want
tried to
ads.
make a low guess.
You-
and I didn't even.
10 years ago,
Oh,
they
you-
had page
page
after page.
after page.
The same thing with the LA Times.
Sure.
And people say, oh, we got great job opportunities, you know.
Yeah, they had
everybody's
about a
going to
50-page
work. I don't
section
know.
in LA Times in the prior days,
Yeah,
remember?
and it's
With
down to about
jobs and-
10.
Oh, boy.
I mean, it's just amazing. You check that. You can go to the library and look up the old newspapers and
Sure.
check that for
Yeah,
yourself.
Look at it for yourself, yes.
And then hear all this BS about, hey,
All these jobs.
employment is really going good. We
Yep.
cannot tell you how good it's going. But here again, in this same article, it says the region posted job gains in construction up 800, manufacturing 800, trade, transport, and utility 700, and leisure and hospitality 400. But those increases were overshadowed by losses in educational and health services and government and professional and business services, among others.
My
Who lost?
goodness. We lost. Yeah, we lost the good jobs, right? The industry, the
economists.
blue collar, and the,
This economist here said that Inland Empire said the region's 6.6% unemployment rate in June was the lowest for that month since June 2006, when it stood at 5.7%.
Wow.
But it compared to a year ago, 23,000 Inland Empire residents found jobs either in the local area or in the coastal communities. Well, they certainly didn't find them here. There's so
No,
many
they
people
sure
out of work.
didn't,
It's just-
did they?
unemployment is up, and a lot of people, they say, you know, they. But you know, the figures. One guy was doing an analysis. He said the unemployment and all this deal, they count people that have only worked hours on the job for a week,
Uh-huh.
and they're unemployed now.
And
See?
now they're unemployed.
You
Yeah.
know, or working, or they're working 5 to 6 hours a week, and they consider them employed.
Yeah, my grandkids, when
That's a
this
job.
first happened, they work in fast food, and they cut their hours down so they wouldn't have to insure them first off, and then they were both working. I don't remember what the deal was, but she had to keep enough hours to barely qualify for insurance, and the husband cut down to almost nothing on his jobs, and the wages were minimum, and you know what kind of job is that? Right?
You know, if you got any information on this,
Yeah.
come and talk to us, because I talked to several employment agencies.
Uh-huh.
They said we have jobs begging, and they said, but they're at minimum wage.
Yes.
These people come in and say, "Oh, I can make more on welfare than I
Well,
can."
welfare, that's right. That's the problem. I
What?
mean, it is. It's a serious
I'm
problem.
not
in
going
our
to work
nation.
for minimum wage.
Why am
what
I
are you
going to work
talking
for
about?
minimum wage when
I
I
can't
get a
make
raise
ends
by
meet,
going
you
on
know.
welfare and I can sit home and watch
Where does it start?
my stuff? Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
They
change
say
of
we got
presidency is
jobs
going to
begging.
start something. You know, new administration I think is going to start something.
Hopefully,
Yeah, I think. Hopefully,
I mean,
exactly, because
you
that's all
people-
it is. We don't know.
you people out there that are unemployed, you know who you are.
Sure.
And you know that you've been looking for
Give
jobs
us a
for
call.
a long time.
A call and let us know what happened or
Even
why.
those that are qualified,
Yeah.
you know, they can't find
They
jobs.
can't find jobs. Exactly.
I've talked to college graduates one after another, and where I went to Cal Poly,
Yeah.
and they graduate from there and they can't find a job in their career field.
Right.
They have to go into sales or marketing
Some
or
other
this.
Field,
You know,
huh? Lesser
just-
money and everything else, huh?
Yeah, it's not what they think it is.
Yes.
And I keep telling people, especially young kids out of high school, I said, get a trade, go to a trade school,
Sure.
become a machinist.
That seems like the
Those
way
people,
to
you
do
know-
it today is do a trade. Find a trade and you like and get into it, you know, and maybe you can get work.
Yeah. What else you mad as hell
Oh,
about?
I'm mad as hell about this. They had a big, I don't even know what you call it, a dog shelter that was just nothing but for the dogs, a suicidal garbage heap. Anyway,
No, they were actually, they had a kennel there. They were
kennel.
raising
They were
dogs.
raising these animals, and there were 38 neglected animals found at this Riverside County home, and some of them were too weak to even walk. There was 11 pit bulls who were found dead, and more than 2 dozen other animals were malnourished and in ill health at a trash-strewn home in Riverside County.
I saw on the news the other night that they were taking the dogs out, and they were so limp, they had to carry them out. You know, they were almost dead. You could see
Almost
their
dead,
ribs.
yeah. Oh my goodness!
I mean, these people
Yeah, I
who
didn't
own
see
that,
that.
my God, they should put them in jail.
Sure they should. Anyway, there was this place was in La Sierra, by the way, and officials returned the following day with a search warrant after they found and seen how bad it was, and it was all squalor. In fact, they tore this house up. The dogs. There was, of course, animal feces, dilapidated furniture, and
Yeah, the neighbors had been complaining for a long time, but they said, code enforcement said, well, they've got a dog kennel
yeah,
over
they
there.
had
What do
they
you
had
expect,
makeshift
you know?
kennels and what have
Yeah.
you, kept in bedrooms and what have you. But they said the dogs destroyed the entire house. And he said
I can imagine if they left on.
they were
Yeah,
skinny.
someone said-
I guess they never ate. They never fed them. Never took care of them.
Well, for
Never
the last.
did anything to them.
They said they hadn't seen anybody in 2 weeks, so that's.
Yeah, they were all examined by vets, and I guess that was a tale of horror that the vet come up with. And they didn't put the names on here. They were putting the dogs. They were selling the dogs from a parking lot or on Craigslist. They said.
Somebody should inspect these places.
Oh, sure they should.
I thought they did have somebody from the state inspecting
Well,
all
they
these.
do, but you know, that's another story we'll have to tell sometime about the Humane Society and how they do some of these
Or don't do.
or don't do these animals. If they get select animals that are worth a lot of money,
No, but that's
sometimes they place them before they get to the shelter.
yeah. But if you know of any situation like this,
Yeah, report it, please.
yeah, call your local police.
Yeah, call
and,
us and we'll
Humane
get 'em on
Society
there.
would just, it's just terrible how some people treat animals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, some people go overboard with animals, but this is so sleazy and low life that that's nothing but a horror story.
Some people, when they lost their homes, they just abandoned their animals.
Yeah.
too, and left them go. Some even inside the house, they
Right.
found dead animals
Sure.
later that were just.
But this was a business. These people are making money on these animals, and that's what I can't understand.
If they find them, they're going to put them in jail. But
Well,
they're
sure
probably
they
in
will.
another state
Yeah,
now.
they're probably
doing the
long
same
gone.
thing.
Or they're here not legally, and we'll never find them.
I mean, it's a tragedy. Here's another thing I'm mad as hell about,
Okay.
and this is on the LA Times now. Let's see, that was Thursday, so that was yesterday, day before yesterday.
Day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Thursday. Day before.
Yeah, Texas. The appeals court orders changes in voter ID law. This thing, well, we have the same thing here, but
Well, they have to have a library card now.
now it's a federal appeals court ruled that Texas strict voter ID law violates the Voting Rights Act and ordered changes before the November election.
Oh, I bet.
And the ruling from the Fifth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, instructs the lower court to make changes that fix the discriminatory effect of the 2011 law, but to do it so in a way that that disrupts this year's election season as little as possible.
Oh, okay, yeah.
As little as possible.
Yeah, little as possible.
President Obama's administration
Oh, yes.
took the unusual step of deploying the weight of the U.S. Justice Department on the case when it challenged the law,
DOJ.
which requires Texas residents to show one of 7 forms of approved identification. 7 forms.
7 forms, okay.
Anything. I think even a library card.
Library card might
whatever.
work, right? Or a letter.
But the state and other supporters say the law prevents fraud. Opponents say it discriminates by requiring forms of ID that are more difficult to obtain for low-income African Americans and Latino voters.
Sure.
Can you believe that?
No, I can't.
I mean, if you check into a motel, you gotta have an ID.
An ID, yeah, and a good one.
If you go
driver's
anywhere-
license or something.
You can't cash a check with an ID,
With-
without an
with
ID.
ID,
Can't- Who doesn't have one?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Who doesn't have some type of
This
valid,
leads to
good
total-
ID, at least a
Total fraud.
Yeah, it is.
And
Absolutely.
one case in Texas, they claimed, they said, well, I have to go 50 miles to that DMV office to get an ID, and I don't drive, but I have to go 50 miles there, and it's inconvenient. I have to get somebody to take me. Have somebody take you.
Yeah, have somebody take you. Get a form of
Idiot.
ID. You only have to do it once. And it lasts
That's
a
right.
whole long time.
Then you have an ID
Then
that
you have
you
an
can
ID
do other
and they
things
know who
with.
you are. That's right.
I mean, it's so stupid.
It is. It's
I
ridiculous.
don't believe,
it's
this
absolutely
is,
ridiculous.
yeah. You just,
Anyway,
if you have any comments about that, give us a
give
call.
us a call. That's for sure. I've had a pleasure of talking to a really sweet lady today, this week, and I asked her on the show. She declined. I told her to call. She declined.
Mm-hmm.
But people have views that are different than mine, and different from Lloyd's, and maybe different from anybody's, and I don't care. Call us and talk to us, and allow us to discuss some of your stuff, because it might be helpful to somebody that's sitting there in a quandary or depressed because they don't feel like they belong, and yet they fit exactly where you're at. So call and talk to us about who you are and what you know and what you don't know, and maybe we can
Yeah, last week we had a great caller.
Yeah. Last week we had the best. He fit in real well with what we were talking about, and I'd like him to call back and tell me that last story.
He was from Orange County.
Yeah,
They can't.
the
We don't
cliffhanger. If you're listening, call me back and finish your story.
We got a break for a commercial, but we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Is it that time? Your car needs a smog check? Well, check out Quick Smog Check in Montclair. They guarantee your vehicle will pass, or you pay not a thing. That's right. If it doesn't pass the test, what the heck? You don't have to pay. So what's the reason why you're not calling them? The number 909-626-5436. You can also drive right down there now. 5438 Holt Boulevard in Montclair. They're open 9 to 5, 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. Do it now. No wait smog checks at Quick Smog Check in Montclair. 909-626-5436.
Thanks for waiting. Lloyd and Greg are back.
Yep. I don't know what this world's coming to.
I don't either, but
This article, here again, you read it in the newspapers, you see it on the air.
Sure.
And a lot of people say, I don't read newspapers and I don't watch the news on TV because it's all bad.
Yes.
Well, there's some good things.
Sure there is.
But I'm not going to bring them to you because
yeah, you got to
be mad as hell
you
to be
got
on
to watch
there.
a little bit. And you can't
Well,
take your nap.
Here it is. Intersex person refused to lie on a passport form. It just
Okay.
And his name is Dana Zim, ZZYYM. Never is suing the U.S. after being denied a passport for not choosing male or female on the application. And Dana Zim needed a U.S. passport, but the application offered only 2 gender choices, male or female. For Zim, neither was accurate. Zim was born with the ambiguous genitalia and identifies himself as intersex, neither male nor female. Zim, who uses the gender-neutral pronoun they and them, was denied a passport after the State Department declined to let Zim use the gender marker X. I mean, what do these people do,
Well, what do they do? Yeah.
He was a military. He was in the service.
In the service and everything. What did he identify as, a man or woman?
I don't know. I'd like to have asked him.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, that would have been a good question to ask, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It shows a picture of him here, but I mean, this is something that, every time, this doesn't affect many people because he's a rarity.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it doesn't affect many people, but I think
choose
that
one or the other usually.
he should be allowed to put X.
X, yeah. Why not? I mean, it's absolutely descriptive, and
Yeah.
it's
And,
his choice, his
yeah.
call.
Maybe he's bi.
Yeah, well, maybe. I'm sure he's bi.
It goes on and on and on.
Well,
And
some of this stuff gets so ridiculous, though. It takes up so much time and energy, and it voices only a small segment of our society. And I'm not downgrading this small segment of our society, but it is a small segment, and there's a lot of bigger stuff that needs to be dealt with, and a complete, ongoing, hitting the same ball in the same area, trying to solve something that's not solvable.
Yeah. Just recently, just the other day, officers arrested 112 immigrant refugees or fugitives, and some have been here before.
Okay.
The process of returning this one guy to Mexico had begun. Now, he was a sexual predator, Ojeda, 46-year-old undocumented immigrant and convicted sex offender who had been released from prison to the streets, opened the door to his mobile home in Chino at 6 a.m. the other day and found the Immigration and Custom Enforcement officers on his porch. As other officers watched with rifles at the ready, Ojeda was handcuffed and placed in a black SUV. Now he'll be sent back to Mexico, but there were 112 of these people. But you know, the tragedy here is that they released 87,000 undocumented immigrants have to be released back into the U.S. because they lack the proper papers.
So
Why
they're
can't
released
you
back
send
into
them back?
The US. Why
Yeah.
in the world is that?
This was done last year, but it says the
Release them back to us. Okay.
ICE arrested. Here are the countries represented in the special enforcement operation this week with the number of its citizens arrested. Mexico, there were 89. El Salvador, 7. Guatemala, 5. Belize, 2. Honduras, 2. Vietnam, 2. Egypt, 1. Philippines, 1. Tonga, 1. United Kingdom, now that was a surprise.
Right.
And Azerbaijan. And they were arrested. Here's a number of arrests that happened during the ICE special enforcement operations in 6 Southern California counties. Now, Los Angeles had the most with 56. San Bernardino only had 16. Orange had 13. Riverside 12. Ventura 11. And Santa Barbara 4. And this, as I say, they apprehended these people who already, some had been in custody before. ICE officers, when their deportation targets were refocused in 2014, were ordered to cease requesting that detention facilities hold a person for 48 hours after their anticipated release. Now officers ask only to be notified of the release, period. But here again, this administration allowed 87,000 undocumented aliens.
Well, that just seems like there's nothing.
You
know, I think a lot of people were proud of their immigration jobs and whatever. How can they be proud of this?
Especially when well, they're not.
They're not. They can't be.
I talked to several immigration ICE people, and they're not happy with
not happy at all.
What they had to do is release convicted sex offenders, murderers. There's murderers out there, and they couldn't do anything. Why not deport them?
Yeah, I know some of these people are heinous criminals that are illegally here. And why in the world, if we get them, won't we get rid of them? Get them back to where they belong. No. They don't belong here.
No, but that's, and they said crime is up.
Yeah.
Big surprise.
Why? Big surprise, right?
L.A., crime was up.
Yeah.
San Diego, crime's up. San Bernardino, crime's up.
Everywhere.
Every city.
The crime is up. Well, why wouldn't it be? For crying out loud. You know?
Releasing these prisoners and not doing anything about it. It just.
You don't know anything about these people. I mean, they're probably serial killers.
Actually, I'd like to see the judges that release these people go to jail in their place.
They should go.
That would stop it in New York second, wouldn't it?
New York second, it would, no doubt.
Jeez.
Just take away their perks, you know. Just don't give them the stuff that citizens get. You know, give them the stuff that they get in their own country.
There's another item.
Okay.
It says Homeless Men's Center is approved. Woo.
Okay.
Yay, right here in San Bernardino.
All right. What does it consist
after building, well, they're going to house 115 people.
Oh my goodness.
What are they going to do with the rest of them?
Yeah, where are the other million going? Yeah.
You know, that's a start.
Sad. Yeah, it's a start, right.
There's so many homeless people around here. They don't even have a correct count.
No, they don't.
And they said, well, we're going to do our share. We're going to do this. We're going to take 115 in.
And they probably won't even fill it up most of the time.
Yeah, and they may not stay.
Yeah, that's what happens, you know.
It's just like I talked to one policeman about a homeless man in Redlands, and he said, look, we can round them up. We do this. We put them in jail. They get out. You know, they commit minor crimes, petty offenses.
Yeah, sure.
They steal water. They steal this. They do that. And they weren't in a they were panhandling in a place they shouldn't panhandle.
Sure.
But he said, and then we steer them to a shelter where they could get some help.
Right.
They won't go.
That's it.
Some are mentally ill and will not go.
Will absolutely.
And as I
not
say,
go.
that they need to be in Patton State Hospital.
Yeah.
And yet they won't take them in there unless they do something
Something
violent.
criminal and violent. Yeah.
Kill somebody.
Yeah.
Or, it's just amazing that
Yeah,
is
I
the
got my
case.
eyes open on some of these programs for homeless and stuff. During Hurricane Katrina, our church always reaches out and helps folks. Well, they put a shelter together at our church that was going to house 450 people from the Katrina, from the after effects. And you know how many people ended up staying at our shelter? We had a big fanfare, big opening. We didn't get one person stay in our shelter.
How many came initially?
No, none, zero.
None came there?
None came, and it was really plush. It was really nice set up, but they don't like the restrictions. They don't want to be restricted. The excuses that they were given is that we want to go to Texas. Texas is where we want to go so we can get our welfare and get our whatever they needed to get. And it was
They get it here too.
Yeah, I know they could get it here too, but I guess it's harder in California. I don't know. And they didn't want the restrictions of a church. A church.
No,
is
but
gonna
quite a
restrict
few did come to San Bernardino.
Yeah, but they didn't
and
come.
Riverside County, but
we
not to
we're
yours.
in Chino.
Yeah.
And that's not that bad. A lot of Hispanics there, and a lot of Hispanics displaced.
Yeah.
Zero. None.
None.
We could not believe it. I mean, it just boggled our minds. Now, we went there and rebuilt the place for them.
But just like anything else, you can't force a wild animal to become tame.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
And you could round them up, but
Right.
no.
I don't know. Maybe the rules were so restrictive that they said, "Oh, no way," because we are a church, and we have certain rules, and maybe the rules were too binding. I don't know. I never read it. I never.
Some, as I say, want the help and are grateful for it, and they want a new start. And I believe they're out there, but
Oh yeah, I do too.
we've got so many that are mentally ill that don't want
Mentally ill
anybody's
or
help.
an alcoholic, and they don't want to not drink.
Yeah.
You
Or
know.
the rules are too restrictive, and they've been too pampered,
Too pampered. Yeah.
for all these.
To do
With
it.
all the free stuff.
And that's why they're homeless in the first place, maybe.
That's right. Did you hear the latest about Bernie Sanders?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't. What's
well,
going on now?
Somebody got a hold of the email from the Democratic National Committee,
Uh-huh.
and they were trying to sabotage Bernie Sanders' campaign.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got proof of that now. So next week it should be very volatile.
Yeah, I think so
those
too.
Bernie Sanders supporters
Supporters, yeah.
got to come out and say, "Hey, you tried to ruin us. I told you that." He came up there.
Yeah,
You're
I
trying
remember
to do
that.
this.
Remember he said they did. Yeah.
Even after he endorsed her, maybe he'll reverse that endorsement.
Yeah, maybe.
Kind of like the cruise thing, huh?
Yeah, kind of like the cruise thing. Well, that wasn't a good thing, but I think they're riding it like a dead horse right now. I think it's been tried and convicted and get down to the real business.
Yeah.
And Donald, you might want to get off of this too.
Yeah, that's for sure. Get down. I mean, forget about Cruz.
Yeah, forget about
Just
Cruz.
go on.
Yeah.
Any of the other guys that were on that ticket with you in the beginning that you beat.
Yeah.
Forget about them.
Forget about them. Yeah.
But this thing with Bernie Sanders and Hillary,
That's a live thing.
Hey, that opened up a wound.
Oh boy.
They read some of the emails on the air, and I said, "Oh, wow,
Wow. Huh?
that's pretty inflammatory." They're
Yeah,
going to go
well.
out, and it was, as I say, the National Committee, and they're supposed to be totally impartial.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's okay for the campaign to do something like that.
But the others are supposed to be totally impartial,
yeah,
right?
impartial. But you Bernie Sanders supporters should be mad as hell
Really mad, yeah.
about this.
And give us
'cause
a
they
call
did,
next week. Think about it and give
They
us a
did
call.
try to destroy him.
And we'll air it.
So we got to
Talk
go
about it.
next week. Have a nice weekend.
Yeah, have a nice week in this heat. It's supposed to calm down in a couple days, I hope.
Don't try. Yeah. Try not to stay mad as hell.
See you next week.
You're listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Hot on offense, this is Maria Marino. Mariners going to town against the Blue Jays, leading 11-2 in the top of the 8th inning. Seattle was leading 5-1 thanks in part to a Nelson Cruz grand slam when Toronto starter R.A. Dickey was pulled in the 4th. In just a few minutes, it's Giants at Yankees. Giants have lost 6 games in a row. The Saints and quarterback Drew Brees aren't close to a contract extension. Brees is going into the final year of his current deal and said via ESPN he and the team haven't had negotiations for 3 months. Cowboys first-round draft pick Ezekiel Elliott is denying allegations of domestic violence by a woman who claims to be his former girlfriend. Elliott has not been arrested or charged. The NFL will investigate. Multiple reports say Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell is facing a 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's drug policy. No formal announcement has been made since he's in the process of an appeal. NBC Sports Radio has been on hand at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe and caught up with Lions receiver Golden Tate, who talked about losing teammate Calvin Johnson to retirement.
I mean, we miss Calvin. We love Calvin. We love what he did for the game, but he's not coming back. We got to keep him moving. NFL is not over because Calvin Johnson has retired, and it won't happen when Adrian Peterson retires or whoever it is. It is what it is. We got to keep going, and I think it's a lot of opportunity for us. I mean, guys are going to get looks.
Catch Tate and other celebrities competing in the golf tournament through 6 Eastern on NBC TV. At the PGA Tour's Canadian Open, Kelly Craft in the lead at 9 under. Dustin Johnson is 1 stroke back. By the way, back to baseball, Mariners now leading the Blue Jays 14-2 going into the bottom of the 8th inning. Listen to NBC Sports Radio on your local radio station or NBCSportsRadio.com.
This is KCAA.
What have I learned so far? I've learned that dropping out of high school was my decision. But as a single mom, that decision affected more than just me. To set an example, I had to be the example. I found a free high school diploma program at Learn for Life that fits around my busy life. I have a team of teachers, tutors, and counselors that really care. I learn at my pace in an environment that is safe and comfortable. What have I learned so far? I've learned that I can change my life.
Are you 14 to 19 years old and looking for a free high school diploma program with flexible meeting times? This program allows you to keep your job or important family responsibilities while earning your high school diploma. If you've fallen behind on credits or dropped out of school completely, get back on track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN, the number 4, LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
FoodForLiberty.com sells high-quality storable foods from Numana. Whether you want to be prepared in the event of an emergency or an outdoor sports enthusiast, FoodForLiberty.com has your prepackaged single-serve packs or kits for the entire family. Numana is known for high-quality, great-tasting, GMO-free, super nutritious food with no chemical preservatives. With a 25-year shelf life, you can't beat the feeling of being food secure when you need it most. Right now, FoodForLiberty.com is offering a special gift, a heavy-duty Survivor dry storage box designed for extreme bug-out conditions. This storage box is built to last, includes compass, signaling mirror, and is yours free with a $50 order. Go to foodforliberty.com right now and pick up your quality storable foods from Numana. To get the Survivor dry storage box, use promo code LIBERTY. It makes good sense to be prepared. Go to foodforliberty.com.
KCAA.
Call the dogs and put out the fire. This is Baxter Black with a little peek at Dr. Fossey from South Africa. What makes America the most productive, generous country on earth? Well, it's ordinary people like us working together to achieve extraordinary things. B&W builds the trailer hitches that hook the loads that haul the grain, the coal, the cattle, cotton, gas, horses, and RVs that keep America on the road. Quality made, employee-owned, and customer-tuned. B&W trailer hitches, working together to keep America proud. I told Dr. Fossey of Pretoria that you could haul a bunch of cowboys from the U.S. to South Africa, turn them loose on the savannah, and they'd be in a wreck as quick as one of them broke out his rope. Well, actually, he said, we're quite capable of creating our own. And then he told me about Martha and Arthur, two rare white rhinos. South Africa had agreed to ship Arthur to Tanzania to mate with Martha. Veterinarians, game management officials, reproductive specialists, and the press discussed at length the benefits that would accrue with this international relationship. However, they soon discovered that rhinos cycle according to the length of daylight hours. Martha, on equatorial daylight time, was never quite synchronized with Arthur on Tropic of Capricornical time. But our team of deep thinkers figured a way around it. They'd artificially inseminate Martha. Well, to collect Arthur's semen, the agricultural engineers on the staff built a homemade ejaculator out of wire, copper electrodes, a hand crank, and lots of electrical tape. Arthur was quite tame, so they tied him up to a thorn tree. With proper lubrication, the head mogul inserted the prod and set the cowboys to cranking. Alas, Arthur showed no response. He's probably packed with dry feces, which is interfering with the conduction of the current, interjected the rhino physiologist. So they tried to clean him out, but no luck. Being a desert beast, possibly there's a lack of internal moisture, observed the rhino hydrologist. How about an enema? They hung a 20-gallon container from the tree, inserted a hose, and the water disappeared like Diet Sprite in the Sahara. Then the chief acting assistant veterinary cowboy technician strode forth and inserted his plastic-sleeved arm to evacuate the bowel. Well, Arthur had had enough. He clamped his aft torpedo door shut just above the technician's elbow, and they thundered off through the brush. 100 yards down the track, the inserted arm popped out, followed by 40 gallons of pent-up colored water. The invader lay like a drowned muskrat left in the furrow, and Arthur raced off to the other side of the game park. Well, you're right, I told Dr. Fossey. We couldn't have done it better. This is Baxter Black, brought to you by B&W Turnover Bowl.
KCAA.
In the mood for some great Chinese food? Well, Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is where you need to be. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food not only has a delicious dinner menu, they also offer delicious lunch specials including their yummy fried rice and chow mein. But get this, it also includes any two items just for $5.85. Or you can get any one item for only $4.85. You should also try their big bowl special for just $4.10. The service is fast and friendly. Mr. Yu's Chinese Food is located at 256 Carousel Mall in San Bernardino, California. To contact Mr. Yu's Chinese Food, call 909-383-0195. Again, that's 909-383-0195. And yes, the Carousel Mall is still open.
That's right! Looking for the latest news in the new Loma Linda University Medical Center? It's in the Loma Linda City News, along with more local news in the calendar section with what to do and where to go for fun. The Loma Linda City News, in print and online at lomalindacitynews.com.
You're listening to an encore presentation of this program on AM 1050 KCAA, the Inland Talk Express.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Sunset Gower Studios here in Hollywood, California, Universal Broadcasting Network. And every Thursdays and Saturdays on my syndicated CNBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and now also on iHeartRadio anytime, anywhere, splattering you with hope and happiness. Yes, because I don't believe in CNN, constantly negative news, so I want to balance you out. So there's no gossip, no scandal, and no K-words, no Kardashian talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And today, my guests are Robin Hoffman-Hack, the founder of Clarity, and Chris Neville, the Vice President of Product Development for Clarity, and they're on a mission to change the conversation about our health, from the way we age to what you can do today to prevent many of the chronic ailments afflicting millions. Welcome. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Robin. And I've been waiting to do this show because I've been, people have been asking, why are so many people sick? I had Fran Drescher on early on this show, and 1 in 3 and 1 in 2 with cancer, increase in heart disease, increase in all kinds of diseases. And my thought was, well, what has changed in the past generation to this generation that is a significant change? And one of the things I thought was processed foods. That's something that we didn't have so much in the past, as well as microwaves, electronics, all kinds, GMOs, all of these things. And so it has not necessarily been linked fully, but that was always my thought. And so I thought I have to do a show about food and nutrition and health and the way we're changing. And then I bumped into Jonathan Colbert when I was speaking at the Health to Wealth Expo out in, that was in Chino, far away, with Raziel. And he introduced me to this really wonderful group of people who have a company down in Mission Viejo. And so that's why they're here. And I wanted to start by saying welcome, and
Thank you.
Why are we all so sick? And actually, you get the award for coming the furthest. Chris actually flew in from Australia yesterday, correct?
Thank
to come
you.
and be
Yeah.
on the show. So, good day.
Good day.
How's down under?
Very down under. It's a long way.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So, go ahead, answer my question.
Oh, look, I think there's, you hit the nail on the head with a couple of comments there. This generation has been subjected to a lot of changes as far as commerce is concerned, and certainly the food industry has been impacted by that. And I really think that shelf life is one of those things that we are dying from.
Mm-hmm.
And shelf life is really where, food from the land where it's grown to the table takes a very big detour, and as a result,
What happens to the food?
What actually happens to the food, and then how it's preserved and denuded in the way it's even grown. So it's quite different as a nutrient if we're looking at it from just a purely nutritional point of view. And as a consequence, you combine that with some other lifestyle factors where we've got so many time-saving devices, yet we're all so busy.
Right. A little oxymoronic on that, huh? Yeah, I'm used to now looking at people's foreheads. I mean, I don't even see their eyes. It's a forehead-to-forehead connection.
Yeah, it's like, can I get some eye contact here?
Yes.
And it's a really it's a crazy situation, and I think as a result of these things that we do on a day-to-day basis, we're slowly kind of, the trajectory is changing from this middle road of health and well-being, and we're going down, I believe, a really precarious path, because the science today is showing that we could quite literally be the turning point of a generation where our kids will die at a younger age than what we are.
No, that's and this whole time we've been going the other direction. We're living longer, right? And it is that's interesting. I didn't know. I actually looked up some statistics. World Health Organization stats says we're increasing in alarming rates of obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, several forms of cancer, osteoporosis, and dental disease, and that's at all-time highs.
Yeah.
All across the world, not just in America. But we are leading, I believe, the world in obesity, which is unfortunate. Not you, Australia.
That's not a gold
That's
medal
America.
status
No,
you're
that's
looking
not.
for.
That's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Diet and physical activity are cited. So then, Robin, this is where you come in. You actually are from a business family, a long history in what is textile.
Textile,
right?
92-year-old company,
right.
yep.
So you're in line for that. Why nutrition? Why move your sights to Clarity?
Well, it goes back to when I was 16, I became a vegetarian just because I wanted to be.
Okay.
And then I've been vegan for 20 plus years.
Ah.
I've been using herbs and, botanical products since early 20s. And just I see what's happening in the world
Welcome
today.
to the new science of nutrigenomics. Welcome to clarity.
It looks like
the
we got
unique
your website. Your website.
No worries. And, I just was seeing what was going on in our world, with the kids so sick, like you just said.
Right.
And I've always just loved educating people. And not that people need to be vegan, but I just have always had in my heart, wanting to educate people. And yes, I love our family business, 92 years old.
Yeah.
I love it and I run it every day. But I just was looking at my life about 5 years ago and knowing my passion for health and what I could do to make a difference.
That's awesome. My daughters will want to watch the show now. Both of them are vegan. Thank you very much. And I've actually done a switch just in this last year. I used to think that vegans were people who didn't get enough attention at home and they always had to be the one that was different. But now I do understand. I have a friend, my new friend, Reverend Arlene Hilton, who I went through this I'm Keeping True program and went vegan for the 40 days of Lent and then again for Ramadan, just to promote living foods. And I get it. I actually was at a birthday dinner and I came off of the vegan diet and I had steak, and the last chew I literally felt sick. And I was surprised at myself because I refuse to watch those PETA movies because I want the option of maybe coming back. But my sensitivity now is I get it. It's not even it's definitely not about not getting enough attention at home. It's all about health. And the old days, we went to the doctor, right? The doctor knew everything. The doctor took care of our health. If we didn't feel well, I know watching my father die of lymphoma, you have to be your own doctor. You have to really take care of your health. And that's why your product is that's what it does. Tell me some of where you went with this.
Yeah, so back 5 years ago when I was really looking at what I wanted to do, and I looking at the kids these days, and I have a daughter that's going to be having children at some point, and I see my nieces and nephews with little ones running around, and I just see the diet they're leading, and and where is that going to get them when they're older? So I got looking at what it would take to make a kids product and get a kids product that would be like an all-in-one product of nutrition, all-in-one drink. And during that process and looking at what it would take to start my own company, I was working with consultants, and lo and behold, I was working on developing like I said, an all-in-one nutrition. But I was introduced to Chris Neville from Australia, and he was saying, if you're starting a company, you really need to get something that's going to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, because there's all sorts of products out there.
Right.
And he's been studying the science of nutrigenomics for years, and he came to me and he said, this will really make it cutting edge, very unique. There's nothing like it on the market. And so we developed this product called Calibrate, the powder drink that you drink every day, and it works on the nutrigenomics. And nutrigenomics is nutrition at the gene level. So it's working with your body's genes. And he talks about the DNA, where it's going to affect your genes and switch on your genes to produce what your body produces itself, your antioxidants inside your cell that can eliminate the inflammation in the body and detoxify and heal the body naturally.
Okay, so this is new. This is a new term, nutrigenomics, and you're working with your body. But I thought that you couldn't change your genetics, that your genes are your genes are your genes.
Yep. They are.
And they can be designer, but they're your genes.
You can do. Well, there's a term called gene expression. So, you can actually have your fixed genome, but your gene expression is really the influence. And so, health sometimes is not what you eat, but what's eating you. And so your moods and emotions can affect gene expression, but also the nutrients you have can affect gene expression. So it's a bit like a dimmer switch, if you will, and that there are certain things, as Robin was saying, that most people are familiar with antioxidants coming from foods, right? And you think of
spinach,
all of the superfoods, superfruits, or just a good healthy diet in effect, and they've got obviously the nutrients that are there, and the antioxidant value, some of them, and I call it the battle of the berries, where you've got my fruit's better than your fruit and all the rest. But the antioxidant story was really valuable to start off with 25 years ago, but it's only half the story. And the other half of the story is that the body has already been coded to produce its own antioxidants.
Interesting.
That are millions of times more powerful than your vitamin C or your...
Than what you ingest.
Than what you ingest.
Okay.
And so primary antioxidants are these antioxidants that the body makes. Secondary antioxidants are what we consume from our diet.
So it's going back to the wisdom of the
body.
to make you healthy. I like that.
Yeah.
So that's a very, also, you know, almost like Eastern thought. You know, you go within, the answer is in you. You don't have to look outside yourself. And so this product actually is founded on that principle.
Correct.
Is that what-
Yeah. So the science of nutrigenomics, if you just think of the word nutrigenomics as two words, nutrition, genomics, your genes, it's really how the active compounds within foods talk to our genes or interact with our body at that gene expression level. It's fascinating.
It is. It is. I'm learning something new.
Yeah. Well, you know, it really fired my imagination. You know, years back when I came across working with a clinical nutritionist and this emerging science.
Right.
And it was a shapeshift for me in terms of not so much just product development, but really another level of awareness on preventative healthcare. And
which is huge now.
And what we could look at of addressing what I refer to as the true source of aging, sickness, and disease. It's not something that you catch, it's something that you create over time.
Right.
And if we can influence that gene expression long term, then we're now in the direct site of where disease can literally start or stop.
Right. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering if I'm talking to a scientist, I am. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. And today I have guests from the Clarity team. I have Robin, the founder, and Chris from Australia, the VP of Product Development. And we are talking about nutrition and health and changing the paradigm of thinking that you need to take something outside of yourself to make you well and give preventative help. We were not even helping our body. Our body is helping us, right? And that's a big shift. So because the attention that's been given now from the food pyramid, right? That was the old way. As long as we followed the food pyramid, we're okay. And then somewhere in there, we got introduced to instant food. If you don't have time, have some rubbery something in a microwave tray, the TV dinner that then promoted itself to microwave, and now it's how fast we can even order food to take out from your phone so you can get it before you get there. I mean, that's fast. And then we can eat it in the car and not really pay attention to what we're eating, and certainly not have the level of interaction that we need to have with.
We don't even have to have a conversation with our meal.
Just give it to me. Yeah. So it's time to really look at, I call it the BS, the belief systems that are keeping us unhappy and out of hope. And health is at a crisis point. More and more every day, one of my Facebook friends posts on there that they just got diagnosed with something. And every day I know that I get a little concerned with aging, which I'm ageless, by the way. But my body is telling me that I'm not ageless. So it is something to pay attention to. Now, what would you say the most? Okay, so let's talk about water for a second. So this is mixed up in water. Is there a difference between what the water's going on now and what we're putting in our bodies? Does this help neutralize or balance out water, or what,
not really? I mean,
okay.
you've got to be selective about the quality of the water. It is, nutrient unto itself.
Right.
So purified water is definitely a preferred way to go, and you can go into more funky water where you're getting, your hexagonal water or alkaline water and that kind of thing as well. But realistically, it's just purified, so you're not dealing with any fluoridation or other traces that are showing up in water today. Yeah.
Now, I've been drinking this since I since I invited you on the show, so about 2 weeks when I figured out it wasn't a shake. and it does taste good. It's vegan, non-GMO. It's like got this berry taste.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free. Gluten-free.
Yep.
Thank you, Jonathan. He's
No
cueing me off camera here.
Nothing artificial.
Nothing artificial. It actually tastes good. It
Yeah.
doesn't taste. Usually berry, I equate it with like NyQuil or something,
no.
but it's actually very good tasting. And what happens to my genes when I take this?
Well, it depends on whether you're a Levi person or a...
Funny. Designer
jeans,
okay, yes.
Understood. Well, realistically, it's just a combination of nutrients. The science behind some of the nutrients are pretty self-evident. You consume typically your superfoods or your super berries, and you can absorb a certain amount of the antioxidant value. That's referred to as polyphenols, and they're quite big molecules, so they're not necessarily able to transit the gut and into your bloodstream and do its antioxidant benefit all the way to the cell. So they're great as a buffer for an antioxidant defense in the gut. But there's a particular compound from broccoli sprout, specifically, although it's available in the broccoli vegetable, but it's more concentrated than the sprout. And this particular compound, when it's ingested, and there's an enzyme called myrosinase that's active, it produces a compound called sulforaphane. Now, there's over 1,000 clinical papers on sulforaphane and what it does to gene expression. This is a new area of science that's at the Johns Hopkins University here in the States, as well as...
Deepak Chopra also talks about it, Dr. Deepak Chopra.
And there's, the University of Queensland, Australia, University of Tokyo, and many other institutions around the world that are researching it because it activates over 2,000 genes that are responsible for cellular defense. So, if you can have a nutrient that was being able to upregulate or support the body to function naturally in its optimal way of cellular defense, then that's far more beneficial than trying to get a supplement to be the antioxidant.
Right.
And so it's millions of times more efficient if we wanting to address the true cause of a challenge rather than signs and symptoms.
And you mentioned earlier about emotions and how those also affect gene expression. That's my baby, where I am constantly repeating something that I learned years ago from Dr. Deepak Chopra, that there are 2 emotions that make your cells degenerate, and that's anger and hostility, and 3 emotions that make your cells function in harmony, which is love, peace, and then creativity, which is an unusual one. So if you have your emotions hot-wired with the nutrition hot-wired, then that is a formula for a happier life.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There was a great article on in front page of Time magazine.
See, they agree with me.
Front page of Time magazine, and what happened was that there was identical twins, and there's a study with identical twins coming back to the genes. So they've got the same genes as identical twins, and they showed that over the course of a life, how there's really quite subtle but also quite profound changes in the aging process, and that comes down to gene expression. So they've got the same genes, but identical twins could look quite different in terms of the signs of aging, sickness, or disease because of gene expression.
And let me guess, the one that was more glass half full and positive aged more gracefully, fewer wrinkles, fewer frowns.
Furrows,
Was that the finding?
I think it was something similar to those things, but also we look at the environment which you grow up with, and this comes back down to whether you've got friends that are supportive and family and that kind of community unit that is really uplifting, or whether they're showing that if somebody grows up in a violent home or environment, there are certain gene expressions that are coded that are really locked in as well. So it's
interesting.
This whole addictive cycle can be linked into gene expression as well.
Well, the good news is that you can change it. It's not
It's not hardwired.
It's not hardwired. You
Yeah.
can do a hard reset.
Yes.
You can delete all those negative cookie browsers.
Yeah.
Yeah? Great,
Yeah.
great. So, Robin,
Mm-hmm.
what's been the most fun part of having this company? It's how old now? And you're
2.5 years old.
2.5 years old, and
I got to say the fun part is hearing all the testimonials and how it's changing lives. Kids especially, I just love seeing, kids getting stars in class instead of being reprimanded in class by the teacher, hearing from the teachers, the parents, phoning the company and telling, what the teachers are saying about what did you do to Sally? Her concentration and she's not getting in trouble like she was. And then, every age group, the testimonials that are coming in.
that's
are
great.
just
And
so
you
fun.
have a formulation for kids. You want to
Yes.
hold that up?
Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah.
it's I started my teenager on it. Maybe
great.
it's a good thing she's already pretty focused. It's not too late. But both of them. So that and what I liked on your website too, which is Clarity, CLAR8, and 8 is a lucky number in
Yeah.
Chinese. So of course you were on my
Yep.
show. 8 is a homonym for good fortune, by the way. And it's a community. It's not just a product. You actually have a community of people who believe in turning on their genes and their super antioxidants for more clarity. Pure potential, I think, is one
Yep.
of your taglines, which
Yep.
is great. And what would you say how long should someone take it so that they begin to see it? And it's just once a day in the morning with water. So
Mhm.
it's pretty simple. You don't have
Yeah.
to take 5 pills a day.
No, definitely we advise drinking it first thing in the morning. It tastes great. People love it, get into the habit of doing it. But everybody will see a difference depending on, what they've been through, medications they're on, different lifestyles and
Mhm,
so forth. But
mhm.
a lot of people see a difference in the first day.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
they'll find more mental clarity. They'll feel calmer. They might notice they're sleeping better because we call it putting out the fire in the body. The antioxidants, that the body makes will detox the body. So you're getting rid of the toxicity out of the brain.
Mm.
And that's huge for stress.
Yeah.
And people feel so much calmer. Me running 2 companies and living life and, balancing it all out, I'm just so much calmer. My husband's in shock at the difference from me 5 years ago to today. And kids, that's where the kid thing comes in with them, not being able to focus and just calming them.
And a wonderful alternative to drugs, whatever they are, that
Right.
have the side effects that are worse than the actual symptoms to start with. So
Right.
that's good.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
And then another product you have is the skin cream.
Yeah, we have a Celebrate that has none of the bad stuff. It's all vegan also. And because that's
You
one
can-
of our things.
don't eat it.
Yeah.
Put it on your face.
Yeah. But we really believe that everything you put on your body is as important what you put in your body. So
Yes.
has none of the petrochemicals or synthetic dyes, fragrances, no petroleum byproducts and so forth.
Yeah. Fran introduced that whole concept. I had no idea that
Yeah.
antiperspirants are not
Yep.
good for you. There's many things that you put on your skin. And do you know that scanner? There's an app that you can scan. Do you know what that is? I forget the name of it. We'll have to look it up, but just Google that. Because you can actually use the SKU to find out if it has toxins or not. All the products.
Yeah. Got it.
So I'm sure yours will come
Right.
out
Yeah.
clean. You should advertise that.
Yeah.
There you go. Great. And then you use that once a night. And what is the benefits of that cream?
Definitely helping the elastin collagen in the skin, hydration. It also works at the cellular level. Chris can speak a little bit on that, on one of the ingredients that really gets to the cell.
Yeah, it's a French. It's the first cosmeceutical. That's
what?
Cosmeceutical, cosmetic as in cosmeceutical.
Another new word.
Yeah, but it's actually from a French macroalgae, and this has been clinically tested to affect the longevity gene in the body, and certainly support the body's natural antioxidant production as well. So again, we're looking at dealing with the source rather than signs and symptoms. We're not trying to do a makeover, we're trying to do a regeneration at a true cellular level. Yeah.
So this is, we found the fountain of youth, and it's in that product.
Well, there's a couple of plant stem cells that have been beautifully put together, and it's supporting the real functional aspect of the skin. But of course, you know, true skin care begins within, and so we're looking at the combination of synergistic products that can come together. So you're nourishing the body as it's growing and rejuvenating and regenerating, and then obviously the night treatment is just a great natural support.
Great. And the cheapest cosmetic is a smile, by the way.
Yeah,
That's
that's
always,
true.
if you're happy, let your face know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
have you always been, like, you've been doing this a long time, 25 years in nutrition, and did you come out of the womb knowing?
Well, look, I had an interest in nutrition. I grew up in a large family with 12 kids.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's pretty large.
What number were you?
Number 7.
Okay, in the middle,
and
balance.
The seventh son, so I've got issues. I'm still working.
The real reason why you're on the show.
The real reason why I'm on the show.
Jarvis will have to put him on a call-in list. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, sport was one of the things that we grew up with. You know, we'd running around with football, swimming, and athletics, and martial arts and that sort of thing. So I was definitely always not so much just sports minded, but health minded and curious. And you know, some of the family members went off into organic chemistry and all sorts of other areas of pathology or otherwise. And for me, I took the road less traveled because I was curious to see what some of the ancient cultures knew that we weren't paying attention so much today. And that's where, you know, with, as you know, traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic
Yay,
medicine.
Chinese.
Yeah. Those kind of things were of interest to me. So I wanted to look at that, but also wanted to look at how other aspects, not so much just the herbal medicine, but also I was interested in what prayer and ritual and chant had as a quality to enhance somebody's sense of well-being or purpose or otherwise. And that somebody, if they had a connection to a higher source, it didn't matter what that was specifically, but they felt compelled or guided by a higher vision or purpose, that they truly had a greater level of happiness and contentment.
I'm so sad you're married. You just got me at the spirituality on that one. That's great.
No,
That's great to know.
That was one of my driving forces. So, you know, I went down the road and I've been playing the didgeridoo for 20 years. And so I've been fortunate to record with the Tibetan monks and do some other pretty interesting things. So it was looking at how sound influenced the body, not just from the sonic
the vibration.
The vibrational side of it, but also understanding meridians. And then the latest research in bioenergetics was recognizing that sound could influence chi and ki flow in the body in a very precise way. So that was some of the other areas that I ventured into. And then as much as when they started sending cosmonauts and astronauts into space, they started to realize that this relationship of the physical body had a direct relationship with the Earth and its energetic field. And
I keep saying,
it's,
we're all vibration. That's what we are. We're an energetic field.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
So speaking my language. So it's great. And so that was really what sort of took me along there. And so when I came across the field of nutrigenomics, it's like, there was a light bulb moment that just said, well, rather than just having, you know, this pill for that thing, that potion for that thing in terms of signs or symptoms, what is that thing that actually represents the true source of what's unfolding, the sickness, aging, or otherwise? And so that's where we identified that truly inflammation, it's like we might put a tag on the central nervous system with Alzheimer's or dementia, but really inflammation plays a significant process there.
All of the chronic fatigue, all of the phantom pain, all of that is inflammation. All of that.
And then with the skeletal system, arthritis and osteoporosis, again, inflammation. And yet even your Surgeon General here in the US says that, you know, the cardiovascular illness, we should be thinking about inflammation. And so that process, that mechanism within the body, if we were to isolate that as a process rather than trying to give it a label of a dis-ease, then
We can work with the process.
Work with the process, correct.
Yes, yes, a gradual. Yeah, my mother has Parkinson's. My father had lymphoma.
Yeah.
You know, I have friends with all of these things. And when I work with them, just on the emotional part, they will feel relief in the physical part.
Yes.
So it's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah. And the anxiety side of things or the stress can affect the biochemistry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You heard it here. And it is that time to thank the sponsors that make this show possible. So we will be back in 2 and 2. Peace in and peace out. Do you ever wish that you had more energy and better overall health? Dr. Marissa here, and I've been drinking Calibrate. It has a delicious fruity taste that harnesses the emerging science of nutrigenomics with the ultimate source of vitality, your own body. It's pure vegan, non-GMO, and gluten-free. For a free gift card, go to www.getswitchedonnow.com and change the conversation about the way we age. And we are back. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa every Tuesday at naturally high noon out of the Universal Broadcasting Network in Hollywood, California, and Thursdays and Saturdays on my CNBC News Radio channel, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5. And if you've missed any of my past fabulous guests, including most recently the singer-songwriter Sheila Nichols, Tony Tennille from The Captain and Tennille, then go to my YouTube or iTunes or anywhere where you'll get splattered with more hope and happiness. And today is no exception. We have the Clarity team here, and if you've missed the first portion of the show, please do tune in on Thursday and Saturday so you can watch the whole thing, because we are talking about health, different kind of health, not taking a pill to fix us, but accessing those systems and processes inside our body that know what to do, because we are well-being. That is our fundamental birthright as human beings. We are energetic beings, and we want to be at high vibration. And too many of us are taking pills or food that is low energy, dead, as well as thinking thoughts that are low vibration, and we're dead, and we ain't too pretty to look at. So Robin, tell me, the product that I was most interested in was the one for cell phones. And I have to tell you, I did my research because I was like, I don't know, not you personally, but, there's a lot of people trying to put fear, right? Cell phones are bad. It's a conspiracy to keep us, those Matrix kind of movies or whatever, keeping us down or keeping us controlled. What's your? I really want to know what made you kind of make that twist into a product like that.
Well, the other thing is the kids, coming back to the kids and my nieces and nephews' kids, and seeing all these kids all over the, 2 years old, and they're swiping iPads, and, brains are still developing, and then eating poor food. But on the iPads, on the cell phones of their parents, watching movies and hours. And, I was just like, and my daughter at the time, she was in high school, and, she'd go to bed with her cell phone and her laptop studying, or watching a movie on the computer. And I'm like, I just don't think this could be really good for you.
Right.
Right. So I really got researching it. And then with meeting Chris and all of his background in quantum physics and, and what is this doing to us? It's not natural. It is synthetic.
Right.
And so we really got studying it, and he was like, definitely, in other countries, they really have looked into it and seen what it has done.
There's a study that's about to break, linking it to specific kinds of cancer.
Definitely.
That's when I went, okay, fine, I'm ordering that.
And
to put on my phone.
It's a huge industry, and our country is, dying from it, basically. Or I just don't want to see where my daughter's children are going to be, in 20 years from now.
Right.
And so that's where I was like, we got to do something and figure out something that will help ground us or ground that emissions from our phones. So that's when we came up with the Q-chip. And it's just a little hologram, and it's embedded with a technology, and you put it on your cell phone, and it grounds you, and it's makes a world of difference. People are feeling a difference even from it.
I felt it the first day. I have to say,
Yeah.
I felt it the first. It was like I had a little bit of buzz in my fingers that I didn't have before. I don't know what that meant, but I definitely felt something on the phone. So both my daughters have it, and it's like one of those things. Even if it's good insurance. You know,
Good
my
peace
father,
of mind.
my
Peace of
peace of
mind.
mind, because it's not going to go away. We're not going to not use iPads. We're not going to not use. You know, I always have the latest. My kids tease me all the time. So if we're going to have it, it makes sense. You know, my dad, I believe that part of the reason why he got lymphoma was he was a microwave technologist. He spent most of his life in the lab with microwave technology. Don't tell me that doesn't have some relationship to lymphoma or any kind of, you're working with energies that you don't understand and they're changing your body. So let's be smart.
I had a friend 10 years ago that's husband, they were in their 30s, was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and the doctor at the time told him, have you been using a cell phone? And he's, yeah, every day, on it all the time. And doctor said, I would tell you I would not get my child a cell phone. And that was 10 years ago.
Wow.
And that's when they weren't near as prevalent as they are today.
Right. Yeah, it just makes you wonder with all of the cell towers and all of the everything that's all around. We're not going to beat it.
No.
But,
no, I mean, it's a technology that's really made a difference to our lives. But
I'd go into shock if I had to give it some.
You know, there's withdrawal symptoms. I believe there's even workshops to get over the withdrawal symptoms. But I think, you know, if people paid attention, the reality of the matter is that even on your cell phone, there's a warning. Do not hold it next to your head. So it's a little hard to hold.
There is?
Yes. Have a look at it. Have a look at it.
Any cell phone inside the box.
Inside
read
the box.
the fine print.
There'll be a...
When all else fails, read the directions?
Yeah.
I know. Really?
Yes.
In my electricity bill from SDG&E, there's a huge pamphlet on EMFs, electromagnetic fields.
And I think that we're going to look back in probably 10 years' time and recognize that it's a bit like the tobacco industry, that hanging around passive smoking, you can still pick up lung cancer, as a passive smoker, lung cancer. So it's not so much just the cell phone itself as a device, it's the fact that you could be in a room with 300 other people with cell phones. So it's the concentrations that we don't have studies that really show what Wi-Fi is doing. And even if we did, we already know.
We probably
we didn't want to have a look
published.
at that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we don't want to look at denial because I want my iPhone is...
Yeah, and so what can we do about that?
If we could see the Wi-Fi in the air, it would be a scary
scariest,
thing.
And it's known as e-smog. I think a lot of people are familiar with it. And there's some very substantial studies around, you know, electrosensitivity and that sort of thing, where people are truly affected by electronics today.
Right.
And this subtle frequency. And if we understand from a traditional Chinese medicine or even the bioenergetics, that this subtlety doesn't have to be something that's as obvious. It's that subtlety over time that can really take somebody down a different pathway and causing this challenge that's emerging. And because most science is looking at matter rather than the energetics and dynamics, that's where who's going to be funding those studies. And there was a study in the 90s, about $28.5 million as a study by a group of telcos. They wanted to find out that, you know, to put to bed this. And it was boxed. Why? Because it showed categorically that it was not the best. Right?
Yeah.
And so this is where it's not about the beat up on telcos at all, but it's recognizing that maybe
telco as in telephone company. It took me a little bit to get past that Australian just now. I didn't know if telco was a product, but telephone telecommunications. Got it.
And it was,
of course not. Of course they have to box it.
And it's really, is it the telecommunications company and their transmitters? Is it the device, whether it be whatever brand you're using as an Android or otherwise, or Apple, or is it the fact that you're using it more frequently? Who's to blame? Therefore, litigation. So nobody really wants to undo that box, right?
True,
so
absolutely not.
It's an economic litigation nightmare that doesn't want to be looked at, and that's my feeling, is that we'll look back in time. But even in Australia, one of the top brain surgeons is operating on 12 and 13, 14-year-old kids, and he's saying categorically, we've got an epidemic, and nobody's talking about it.
Which is why I wanted to bring you on here, because I do want to talk about it. I don't want to just have what's on mainstream news as part of the news. I mean, that's my job, is to balance out what some producer wants or what doesn't want to. I want to talk about what I want to talk about, and this is about being smart. So the great news is I got them to agree to an Asian Oprah giveaway, which is a significant gift card that all of my listeners get, and they just go to www.getswitchedonnow.com and promo code. Are you using a promo code, or are you just saying anything just to get that gift card?
We can have them contact our customer service and definitely get a gift card. So see us at clarity.com.
Great, because there's plenty of things that you can use. And again, and I've said this on the air before, this is not about, sales is an interesting animal, because if you're asked to buy something, you automatically don't want to buy it. I mean, that's just our knee-jerk reaction. But the reality is, we need to buy things that are smart, and buy them from people who believe as we do. And when I say as we do, we believe in well-being. We believe in the answer is in you. We believe in not blaming. We believe in solution. So if you are not feeling your best, if you feel like you are not energetic, if you feel like, you want a psychologist but you can't afford it, or you don't want to go, or, here's a very hugely intrusive solution that you can try for yourself, and go to the website to say you heard it on Dr. Marissa, and then use it, try it, let me know, let them know how it is, and I know that I'm now a calibrator.
And taking control of your life, and your health. Yeah, that's what's key.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any last words?
No, just thank you so much, and just getting the word out there, and so people can take control of their health and not rely on mainstream.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Chris?
And look, I think there's just some simple things that people can pay attention to, and it's like, whatever you're doing on a daily basis, is it producing life or is it detracting from life? It's a simple kind of a choice. We're moving towards health, or we're moving away from health. And to recognize that there are industries that have got vested interest in presenting research because of the vested interest outcome. But independent of that is, people have got to become responsible and self-educated. They can't hand over responsibility to, I don't care whether it's a naturopath or whether it's your GP. At the end of the day, you need to become more informed about how you can get well and stay well yourself, so you can either subscribe to having somebody else tell you what to do, or making suggestions and you taking the recommendation as a conscious being.
Yes. Choice.
Yes.
That's the most powerful tool we have, is choice. So use it. Thank you so much, Chris and Robin, for coming, the Clarity team.
Thank you.
And off camera, Michelle and Jonathan, thank you so much for coming here. And get your Calibrate. Beautiful. And now we are to the end of the show, where I do my balance bar, inviting you to step up and to find out how to be more balanced. And so the first tip is from my 21-day fast from complaining with Dr. Marissa. The balance tip for today is, don't keep going to the tractor for milk. We complain about people, places, and situations that just are. They are not going to change, no matter how often we try to change them, or with whatever method we're trying to change them with. Trust me, I have a teenage daughter. And, and no matter how much we complain, nothing will change. So acceptance is the balanced tool that will take away the negative energy called complaining and nagging, So today, when you're tempted to complain about someone's inability to be kind or sweet or loving, maybe they are just a tractor and incapable of giving milk like that at this time. So don't go there. Go find yourself a real cow. If you would like to join the 21-day fast from complaining, sign my guest book at www.balance.org. Round 62 does start August the 1st. We've been doing this for 5 years. This is our 6th year where I give you a tip every day from day 1 to day 21 on how you can stay complaint free. So if you haven't already gotten the app, I made that for y'all last year. It's only 99 cents, so find it on Google Play or the App Store to help you be complaint free. And let's see. Oh, and David Leslie is just about to make the 21 days this round on my Facebook, so he will receive, if you register and tell me you've done 21 days without complaining, you get a free 52 card Pick Me Up Stacking the Deck for Life Balance with Dr. Marissa, my motivational card. So David Leslie, do not complain for another 2 days. All right. And for the hundreds of you who always ask, when are you doing another local class? Here it is. This Thursday, July 21st, and next Thursday, July 28th. Yes, I'm in a creative coalition partnership with the Duda Art Gallery Healing Art Series in LA near the LMU campus on Manchester and Lincoln Boulevard. Mary Duda will be my guest next month to talk about creativity and violence in games. So please do register. It's at 6:30 to 9:30, again, this Thursday and next Thursday at forbalance.org or drmarissa.tv. It's only $88, which is less than half of a regular session with me. So please do take advantage of me. And next week, and I wanted to give a peace in, peace out thank you to Purple Planet Music for always being fabulous with their royalty-free music for my promos. And next week is my popular last week of the month series, Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, because I'm determined to make pleasure a G-rated topic. And my guest next week will be fellow winner in the 2016 Top Podcast of the Year Awards. I was in the health category, and Scott Fullerton, another host at UBN, was the winner in the LGBT category, and he's bringing on Scott Turner Schofield from The Bold and the Beautiful, one of the main actors on that soap opera, to talk about sexual healing and sexual orientation coming out, gay pride, all of the events that happen in Orlando and how it is affecting the community, and have we really gotten better at valuing diversity in this area. So that's sexual healing next week. Keep it tuned. To take my advice, I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa Pay. That's P for positive, E-I, and remember, it's all about balance. Peace in and peace out.
At an early age, people around me, my heart in a cage. It was a book, don't turn a page. I couldn't see past my rage. I wanted to dance, but I pushed you away. Now I'm on my knees, I'll listen to what you say. And you said, be my partner, dance with me. Just hold on, I will lead. Don't be afraid. Those days of warm rains come rushing back to me. Miles of windless, sour nights.
listening to KCAA, Loma Linda, California. The best station in the nation.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
On fire, this is Maria Marino. Nelson Cruz ignited Seattle's offense today.
Swung on and ripped high and deep to center field. Back is Pilar. He looks up. This is out of here. A grand slam home run for Nelson Cruz. And with one swing of that bat, the Mariners have taken a 4-1 lead.
Mariners radio network with the call. They went on to crush the Blue Jays 14-5. Cruz also had a 3-run homer in the win. Toronto will look to avoid a sweep tomorrow. Giants trying to end a 6-game losing streak at Yankee Stadium. They are tied at 0 in the top of the 3rd inning. Also, Pirates trying to bounce back against the Phillies. Pirates and Phillies are tied at 2 apiece going into the 3rd inning. The Saints and quarterback Drew Brees aren't close to a contract extension. Brees going into the final year of his current deal and said via ESPN he and the team haven't had negotiations for 3 months. Cowboys first-round draft pick Ezekiel Elliott is denying allegations of domestic violence by a woman claiming to be his former live-in girlfriend. Elliott was not charged because of conflicting accounts by witnesses. Multiple reports say Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell faces a 4-game suspension for violating the NFL's drug policy. No formal announcement has been made. He is appealing. USA Basketball began its Olympic bid with a 111-74 rout of Argentina at a Las Vegas exhibition game last night. Kevin Durant dropped 23 points, Paul George 18, Carmelo Anthony 17. Listen to NBC Sports Radio on your local radio station, online at NBCSportsRadio.com, or on the free mobile app. It's Maria Marino, NBC Sports Radio.
This is KCAA.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
KCAA is your CNBC News affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
This is Retirement Made Easy with Mark Sharifi from Legacy Investment Services. When a part of your financial strategy is out of tune, your long-term goals, your retirement savings, and your legacy can all suffer. With many years of experience in the financial industry, Mark provides his clients and prospects with the information they need regarding Social Security, retirement income planning, wealth management, and much more. Listen in as we address your financial concerns and provide helpful solutions to put you on the path to achieving your retirement goals. Your money and your plans in perfect harmony. And now, here's Retirement Made Easy with Mark Sharifi.
Welcome to Retirement Made Easy. I am Mark Sharifi with Legacy Investment Services, and in this show, we will be talking about creating an income retirement plan. Now, joining me this week to discuss this topic is Tony Shore.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Mark, and it's great to be here with you on Retirement Made Easy. I really appreciate you having me on your radio show. We're going to have a lot of fun each week talking about really important topics, the things that are going to be important to our listeners out there. And listeners, you're in for a real treat today because Mark is a financial expert, and a retirement planner and a financial planner. So I've got a lot of questions for Mark today. But before we get into that, I've had a good start to my new year. Mark, how have you been doing?
Oh, it's been really great, a great start for me as well. But unfortunately, obviously, you've seen the financial markets hasn't had a great start. So just educating clients and guiding them through this tough, very difficult time as the year started.
Yeah, the markets, wow. Talk about market volatility. That's crazy, and I know that's a big part of what you do is help people so they're not drastically affected by this, to make sure that their assets are properly allocated. We're going to be talking about all these things in today's show and in future shows as well. Now, Mark, before we get into our topic today about creating a retirement income plan, I thought I'd ask you, for our listeners out there who may not know of you, or maybe some of the folks out there haven't heard about you, tell us about your company and your history a little bit.
Well, my name is, of course, Mark Sharifi, and I've been in the industry for 17 years. And I got involved in the industry because my grandmother was actually taking advantage of financially while I was in college. Long story short, because what happened to my grandmother, I did not want to happen to any other person. I got involved in the financial sector, and my main focus of myself and my firm and for my clients is to be educating them through retirement, because retirement, as we all know, has really two phases, Tony. The first phase is the accumulation phase, where somebody helps you and you put money aside, certain percentage of your income, and build your wealth that way. But the second phase, which is as important, actually more important than the first phase, is the distribution. And what I would do and what my firm does is we specialize on the distribution and the income planning part of that retirement phase, Tony.
Well, that's great. And Mark, I'm really looking forward to today's discussion of creating an income retirement plan, and I bet our listeners are too.
Yes. And, the key to retirement, in my professional opinion, is really not how much you have, Tony. I have clients that have 500,000, $1 million, 4 million, and their main concern is always the same. Do I have enough? Will I outlive my money? And that's their biggest fear. So the key to retirement is really not how much you have, but how much you have coming in guaranteed for the rest of your life on a monthly basis.
Yes, exactly. And that's what can give us a peace of mind. I think that's great advice, Mark, and a good point. So what do you first suggest our listeners do to begin creating an income retirement plan?
Well, they would want to identify their income needs first, Tony. An important aspect of a financial plan is the evaluation, of your income needs. Finding the most efficient and beneficial way to address that will have impacts on your lifestyle, your asset accumulation, and your legacy planning after you retire. When you have identified your income need, you will basically know how much to structure for income and how much needs to be set aside for growth. With the help of a financial professional, you can work on creating a steady stream of income for your retirement. And as I said earlier, it's the steady stream of income that is far more important than really the bulk or the total assets you have created for retirement.
That's an interesting point. Now, when you're dealing with somebody who feels like, hey, I've identified my income needs, and in addition, they've been diligent about saving or creating a nest egg for their retirement, they've got a 401k or what have you, what do you say to them?
Well, even though you may have saved and created a nest egg for yourself, it's good to be aware that once you face retirement, you may need to change your financial strategy.
So, in a sense, the statement that it's never too early to begin preparing for retirement, that really holds true. From what you're saying, in addition, making sure your plan is able to deal with financial changes you may encounter, that's important as well.
Exactly, Tony. I would agree. By having a financial plan to help you create a steady stream of income, you can prepare for yourself a comfortable retirement. You can do this by consulting with a financial professional on the best ways to invest your assets.
Well, this is a lot of great information, Mark. Now, can the retirement income planning process get overwhelming for some people?
Of course, it does get overwhelming for some people. Retirement can be scary or intimidating for some people who are not financially prepared. Oftentimes, we dream about retirement like it's permanent vacation or like we are sailing off into the sunset, and for some, that's not a reality. However, there is hope, Tony, and I want to be able to help people meet their retirement income goals.
Well, yeah, and that's really important. And we all want to meet those goals. Maybe you could give us an example of somebody who really needs to be encouraged to have a financial plan.
Of course, as an example only, let's just say that I have a client who has been pretty good about saving for retirement over the years. However, their saving has fluctuated due to life events and was affected by the 2008 financial crisis. And of course, for some people even now being affected if they're close to retirement. Even though they may have been steadfast for accumulating a nest egg, they may have not been as committed to developing a financial strategy for retirement. You see, the client may know how much money they have saved, but don't know how long it'll last them. Those are the clients and prospects that should have a financial plan to make sure that they have the income they need to last their retirement.
Well, I think you make a great point there, Mark, and the volatile market we're in right now actually illustrates the need to have a financial plan in place and a plan for their income in retirement because, as we all know, 2008 had a huge impact on a lot of Americans, and especially retirees or those trying to prepare for retirement. And I think it probably changed the financial future for a lot of people, didn't it?
Absolutely, yes it did. And I'm sure this market volatility, if anybody's looking to retire, this year or in the next couple of years, and they see their 401ks or their portfolios going down, is going to have a huge impact as well. That's why it's important to have the income goals and the income planning in retirement. For example, according to an article published by the Urban Institute titled How the Financial Crisis Affected Retirement Savings, the stock market lost 47% of its value between September 30 of 2007 and December 2nd of 2008, which is a decline of about 11 trillion. That's trillion with a T. These losses greatly reduced the retirement savings of some older Americans, Tony. Also, assets in retirement accounts or defined contribution plans and IRAs reached 8.7 trillion on September 30th, 2007. About 70% of these assets were invested in stocks. As of December 2nd, 2008, retirement accounts lost $2.8 trillion, which is 32% of their value. I mean, even with the market volatility today, Tony, if somebody loses 32% or 30% of their 401k or their retirement assets, it's going to have a huge impact on their retirement.
Yeah, it really is. That's huge. I mean, some of those statistics are staggering, and I think it's really important to understand that, and it's good for us to know these because it really makes us aware of how important this is, doesn't it?
Of course, yes. These statistics help to further emphasize that properly planning your retirement could now be more important than ever. These numbers also suggest that having a financial strategy could be exceptionally helpful when heading into retirement. People, of course, Tony, are living longer and longer, and it is important for them not to outlive their income. Knowing how much you have in savings may be easy, but figuring out how long it will last you or how long you will need it to last you can be extremely difficult, and that's where I help my clients in the most possible and effective way as much as I can. To find out if you may outlive your savings, it could be helpful to meet with a financial professional.
Okay, and that's the point where I wanted to ask you about. Let's talk a little bit more. We have some time here. I wanted to ask you, before we end this segment, tell us a little bit about your company. And for the listeners out there,
you said it's helpful to meet with a financial professional such as yourself, a fiduciary, financial planner, somebody you can trust. And that initial meeting, if our listeners wanted to pick up the phone, give you a call, that it's complimentary, right? There's no cost or obligation. It's just to get to know each other.
Absolutely, Tony. As I stated at the beginning of the show for you, I got into this business because I truly want to educate and help retirees or people looking to retire soon and navigate through this world of financial that's extremely complicated and that most people do not understand. So the first meeting is absolutely complimentary because if I've educated you, whether you decide to work with our firm or with myself or not, then to me that's success. So we'll have a cup of coffee or a glass of water or a soda, and we'll sit down and have basically a chat, a little bit of information for me to get to know, of course, the client, and the client to get to know a little bit more about myself and the firm and what we stand for and what we do and how we help and how we can help them.
Okay, and I think that's great. And what's the name of your firm again?
Legacy Investment Services.
Legacy Investment Services. And you've been doing this, as you mentioned at the start of the show, quite a while. So if I'm a listener out there and I think, okay, yeah, I mean, there's no strings, you're not going to try to sell them anything. You just want to talk about where they're at and see if there is something you can do to help or not. How do they do that? How can they get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to our website at 4legacyinvestments.com. That's the number 4, legacyinvestments with an S.com. Or they can definitely call us here at 800-977-4030. Again, that's 1-800-977-4030.
Yeah, and you mentioned your website there, Mark. I know that there's a lot of great videos, tools, information that's complimentary to our listeners. They can go on there. There's no cost for any of that on the website, and it's really easy to use. Even if you're not technically savvy, if you can just go to that website, there's a lot of stuff there, isn't there?
Absolutely. There's a lot of, once again, educational tools that are made real easy and short videos that can educate the clients and tell about retirement planning needs and retirement income. But also, more importantly, there's a letter from the founder, of course, which is myself, and it's from the heart to telling people exactly who I am and why I do it. And I highly encourage listeners to go to that website and click on the letter from the founder.
Yeah,
and take a couple of minutes to read that.
It is great. I think it's worth your time. Listeners, do that. It'll allow you to get to know Mark a little more, and it really is a great sentiment, and it's from your heart, I can tell. And this show is going to be a big part of that. In fact, listeners, if you click on there's a radio button on his website. It says Retirement Made Easy with Mark Sharifi, This Week in Radio. If you click on that, it'll take you to the radio page where you can hear this show, and you'll be able to hear future shows, past shows when they come on. They'll all be there. You can subscribe to the show as a podcast, and there's a weekly download that you'll want to take advantage of. I believe it's the Retirement Income Toolkit, which provides a lot of different information, and it's all there's no cost to any of that. So, listeners, please do that. Now, Mark, we have to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk more with Mark Sharifi on Retirement Made Easy after this.
In today's volatile environment, making sure your scales are balanced has never been more important. Money can go up or down in value, and it may pose a risk if not properly managed to serve a specific purpose in a comprehensive plan. At Legacy Investment Services, we created a report that has general guidelines for proper allocation of your retirement and investment assets called the Rule of 100. You can download your own complimentary Rule of 100 report at 4legacyinvestments.com or call us toll-free today at 1-800-977-4030.
We are back with Retirement Made Easy. I am Mark Sharifi, investment advisor and president of Legacy Investment Services. Tony, why don't you catch them up on what we have already covered?
Yeah, you know what? Thanks, Mark. It's been a great show so far. Fantastic information that you've given us and the listeners out there during that first segment. You were telling us about the first steps to creating an income retirement plan, and and that includes identifying our income needs and why somebody should have an income retirement plan. And that's hugely important, and you illustrated that. There are some staggering statistics out there. Now, do you have a lot of people come to you, like clients and prospects and people you meet with, ask about how they should plan for their income in retirement?
Of course, Tony. I have quite a few clients inquire about the best way to plan. Now, keep in mind, each person's situation is different, and there's not really one plan that meets everyone's needs. So I work with each person by listening to their retirement needs and wants and help them decide which plan works best for them. Tony, while everyone's amount they will need in retirement will be different for each person, however, the general rule of thumb that a retiree will require approximately 70 to 80% of their pre-retirement income to maintain their lifestyle.
Okay, well that's helpful. And so, you know what, Mark, once somebody knows what their number is, and we all need to find out what our number is, and by that, of course, it's how much we're going to need to live on each month in retirement, what's the next step then?
The key step here, Tony, is matching your income need with the correct investment strategies, options, and tools to satisfy that need. You see, when you take healthcare costs, potential emergencies, plans for moving or traveling, and other retirement expenses into account, you can really give your calculator a workout. However, you want to maximize retirement benefits to meet your lifetime income needs. The best approach is usually crafting a solid income plan, going back to the point I said earlier, and then having a financial advisor help to ensure your assets are properly allocated to have an opportunity to capture some growth and adequate amount of liquidity, but not to overreach. Having the right balance is the key to making sure that you have a solid income plan in place and that you are not going to outlast your money.
It sounds like the key in all of this is to not outlast our money. So knowing this, what do you suggest our listeners do to get a good retirement income plan?
You see, for our current clients and, of course, future retirees, what you should find is a balance where certain parts of their money have principal protection while others have more growth opportunity. Now, there's a lot of tools we use here, but there's one tool that we use that everybody out there can understand, and it's simple, is the Rule of 100 report for that. For example, I use the Rule of 100 report. You take 100 minus your age, and that might be the amount of money you should have at risk at any given moment in retirement. Now, keep in mind that this is different for every single person. The Rule of 100 does a really great job of helping people organize their assets and understand what types of assets they may have, such as understanding if they have assets that are subject to risk and the level of risk. But it most importantly makes them understand if they are going to be comfortable with the level of risk, and is that level of risk going to help them or hinder them during retirement income planning.
Well, you know what, Mark? The Rule of 100 sounds very helpful. Can you tell us maybe a little bit more about how that works?
Of course. With the Rule of 100 report, Tony, there are two ways to determine one's level of risk. First, there is green money. This is money that offers principal protection, but it may pose risks other than market risk. Then we have red money. This is money that can go up or down in value. It may pose risk if it is not properly managed to serve a specific purpose in a comprehensive plan.
So, Mark, is this process difficult for the average person to follow, or is it pretty easy to pick up on?
It's pretty easy. It's not difficult at all, Tony. The process is fairly easy. Our Rule of 100 report provides a visual showing the importance of having a well-balanced retirement strategy. It is a very eye-opening experience to review. Now, you should know this isn't all you need to fill your income gap in retirement. The Rule of 100 is simply a place to start for us, but it helps people organize their money into red money or green money making sure that they understand the risk that they are taking in retirement.
Well, I think that's a great way to put it, red money and green money. To simplify, we throw around words, and I always hear you, Mark, talk about asset allocation. But when you make it, put it in simple terms, like green money is safe for principal protected, and red money is the money at risk or in the market. That's great, and the rule of 100 is great. Where can our listeners go to get this report and more information on this?
Yes, definitely. I can provide it to them. Please visit my website at www.4legacyinvestments.com. That's the number 4legacyinvestments.com. Or you can request your complimentary by giving us a phone call here at the office at 1-800-977-4030. Again, that's 1-800-977-4030.
Well, even with all this great information, I bet some folks out there still find excuses not to save, right?
Of course, Tony. Some still find excuses no matter what not to save. Many Americans claim that they are unable to save for retirement because they simply can't find room in their budgets to do so. Now, let me share this fact with you, Tony. According to an article titled, "Many Americans Don't Ever Expect to Retire," published by USA Today, they reference a recent retirement study done by Wells Fargo and conducted by Harris Interactive regarding this. Out of 1,000 Americans between the ages of 25 to 75, Tony, 59% say that their top day-to-day concern is paying their bills. 42% say both saving and paying the bill is not possible. I mean, that's staggering. And 48% are not confident that they will be able to save enough for a comfortable retirement. And 34% say that they will have to work until they are at least 80 because they have not saved enough.
Yeah, I've got my hand up on that one, Mark. My wife and I, that's a concern of ours. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but we've started thinking about it. And, once our kids are grown and out of the house, we have, 401ks and things. We're always concerned, is that going to be enough? And I would imagine this is a pretty common concern for most of the people that you meet with, correct?
Correct, that's correct. No matter how challenged or successful someone has been financially, there are always unanswered questions or concerns people have. Retirement is a pretty big life event, Tony. Therefore, it needs to be taken seriously. My clients often ask me about how to help in creating income in retirement. They also have questions like how much risk, how much safety, and how much is right. What you also have to realize that, people live longer and longer these days with medical advancements, of course, and technology. So I have clients that retire, between age of 55 and 60. They're going to live at least a quarter or a third or maybe even half of their lifetime in retirement. And having the right income plan and during retirement is the key.
Well, yeah, that's really good, and that's a good point. Now, is there when we talk about risk, is there a hard and fast rule that you always